Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today, well, it's my first time having a go at a puzzle by Logan Wall. Mark has done a Logan puzzle before on the channel, but this one has suddenly had a flurry of recommendations. It's called VanDerWaal, I think that is, and that might be, I don't know much about American Idol, but I think there was a singer. I think there might be an American Idol winner called VanDerWaal, but I don't know how that relates to this puzzle. I will rely on everybody else to explain it to me. But anyway, the testers two of our testers had a look at this, and they say this is absolutely magnificent. One of the best 6x6 puzzles they've ever seen, and not trivial, was the advice I got, because often we can look at a 6x6 grid and think, well, how can this be even remotely complicated? Well, we're about to find out. Very simple rules today. It's just sort of normal Sudoku rules as they apply to 6x6 puzzles, and then these pink lines are renban lines. So I'll read the rules properly in a moment, and we shall have a look at the puzzle and see what Logan has in store for us. But I've got some messages first. We are closing in rapidly on the 1st of April, which is not only April Fool's Day, it is also the day when we are premiering The Nightmare on Sudoku Street from the Skunk Works. This is a collection of 19 rather beautiful puzzles featuring this brand new Sudoku constraint where cells that are a knight's move apart in chess cannot contain digits that sum to 15 or 5. It is a strange one. It leads to some absolutely fascinating logic. But if you want to have a go at this, do become a patron. It's a couple of bucks a month, and it's the best value thing in the world, as proved yesterday. Now, what else have we got? We've got gas. Our second gas pack that is available on all platforms, and of course features genuinely approachable Sudoku puzzles. So if you are keen to learn about variant Sudoku, this is the pack for you, because all of the puzzles are intended to be bite-sized, sort of coffee time puzzles, things that shouldn't take you hours and hours, unlike yesterday's puzzle, which I needed 2 hours to solve. No, gas puzzles are intended as a great introduction to variant Sudoku in this world, so check that out if you have any interest in such things. Now, I'm still catching up on birthdays and anniversaries post my holiday last week, so let me try and continue that trend. Avital over there in New York, it was your birthday on the 25th, and apparently you use Cracking the Cryptic to pass time on the subway on your commutes. I can fully empathise. That's exactly what I used to do when I used to go into London. The train journey was my one pleasurable time of the day when I got to actually do some puzzles. And the picture of your daughter, she is beautiful, Avital, so many congratulations on her arrival. Now, Elias, you turned 23. I'm not sure if it's today or not. It could be, actually. Your friend Adrian wrote to us, and I understand, Elias, you're rather a good jazz guitarist, something I'm quite jealous about. Jazz guitar is something I just cannot play. So well done on that, and I hope, of course, you have chocolate cake today. Isaac, you've turned 34. It could be Isaac, actually, as well, depending on pronunciation. 34 on the 22nd of March. And I know this because your girlfriend Karen wrote to us over there in Sweden. And apparently you both use CTC as your nerd thing. That sounds good to me. Naomi, it's your birthday today. You've turned 22. And I know this because your father Mark, who writes to us often, told us this a while ago. I hope you're feeling better, by the way. And I hope you have a great birthday today. Paul, it's your birthday, and rather unusually, I know this because your child's friend Evelyn wrote to us. I know no more than that, but Paul, happy birthday. Seth, you've turned 29. I think today your fiancée Crystal wrote to us. She described the channel as bringing a little bit of extra joy into the day, and that is exactly what we try and do. And then Jeremy, finally. This isn't a birthday, but many, many congratulations to you and Brooke on your engagement. You've been together for 6 years now, And we, Mark and I, wish you all the best for the future. Many congratulations. Oh, and actually, I mustn't be remiss. I must mention as well those solvers, those patrons out there who've managed to solve the whole of the Alice in Sudokuland hunt. So just a few names today. Maddie Capelloni, Celia, Zorro, who says that it was quite difficult to do Japanese sums puzzles while in Vegas. I can't empathise, but I can sympathise with that. Caitlin Bond, Joe Mianima, maybe, or Minema, maybe. I'm not sure. I need guidance if there's any doubt. John Bruns, Amir Jamshid Nakai, Johnny Bolton, Martin Phillips, Jonathan Gard, Joshua Mundell, Kiraz Baisal, Stasha B, Jessica Freeson, Input J, and Hugh Davidson. Very well done, one and all. And with that, I will read you the rules of VanDerWaal by Logan Wall. This won't take long. Normal Sudoku rules apply, i.e. place the digits 1 to 6 once each in every row, column, and 2 by 3 rectangle. So we don't have to deal with 7s, 8s and 9s today. Digits on pink brackets renban lines must form a set of consecutive non-repeating digits. So imagine we worked out that cell was a 1. Then this line here would have to contain the digits 1, 2 and 3 because the digits on the line need to be consecutive. So we could do something like that. That's how pink lines work. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. We get a given 6, and we get. It's very symmetrical grid actually, absent this 6, isn't it? Sort of around this diagonal is how I'm looking at it. These two little pink lines are slightly asymmetrical around that line, that diagonal. But other than that, it feels a bit symmetric. Actually, these lines are not quite symmetrical either. So maybe it's a symmetrical rotation or something. Okay, well, presumably we've got 3 4-cell lines. So if we're selecting 4 consecutive digits from the digits 1 to 6, then a 4-cell line has to have a 3 and a 4 on it. So these, right, let's get this right then. These digits here, those cells have to have 3 3s and 3 4s in them for sure. And that's no good, is it? I was thinking that was going to be useful, and it might have been if these shapes had been different, but actually it's not quite. This green shape I've shaded actually occupies 4 different rows and 4 different columns. So knowing that we've got 3 of each number in that space is not terribly interesting. Wow. Okay. What is it then? It's going to be something. It's going to be something to do with. Do I think it's to do with 3s and 4s, or do I think it's to do with the given 6? I feel like the given 6 is a disambiguating 6, as Maverick flies over the house again. Let me just think about this for a moment. Are there any cells on these S's that see? No. I was wondering if I could rule out. Let me get rid of my green. Cells like this. Maybe I could have said that couldn't be a 3 or a 4 on the basis that it couldn't then appear on this line. It's no good though. That, in fact, that cell is better, isn't it? Let's look at that cell instead. That cell rules itself out of 3 positions on the line, but if this was a 3 or a 4, it could still go here. No, okay, so it's not that. Let's try... Sorry, I'm not spotting this at all. It's something like... Come on, brain. If that's a 3 or a 4, that's a 3 or a 4. Oh, and then you can't... and then you can't put one on that one. Right, this is not a 3 or a 4. Oh, that's so strange. Right. Right, so it's this line is where we need to focus. Where do the 3 and 4 go on this line? And the answer is not in those two cells, because let's try and put... Imagine this was a 3 or a 4. Now on this S, we know that this digit, because it's a 3 or a 4, must appear on this 4-cell pink line as well. So it would have to go here. But then it doesn't seem to have anywhere on the bottom S. So this cell is not available to be a 3 or a 4, and this cell is the same, because if this was a 3 or a 4, that has to be a 3 or a 4 by the power of 3 4-age, and now you can't put a 3 or a 4 on the top one. So these two squares are a 3-4 pair in the puzzle, and that's going to be what we needed to get started. So probably what we need to do is to highlight these in different colours, because now we know that this line and this line have to contain a green and a blue 3-4. So the green 3-4 has to be in this domino, which means the green 3-4 in box 4 is in one of these two cells by Sudoku. Now, let me just think about that. And the blue 3-4 has to be in one of those two cells. This is just symmetrical, isn't it? And then it's in one of those two cells. Right. And that's very useful. Hang on, why is that useful? Come on, brain! Oh, we're not going to have another day like this, are we? Where brain doesn't work. Brain, engage yourself. What is wrong with you? I suppose there's... I was trying to think about whether I was likely to get a 3 in the corner today. Perhaps slightly more likely than usual. I don't know. That doesn't... I don't see how the symmetry here can possibly help me. The blue one has to be on that renban. Yeah, that's interesting. Imagine that was a 4. Then this would be a 3. But this, in fact, this is extreme. Right. Right. Okay. Whatever this is, 3 or 4, it pushes this pink line to be either 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. So, oh goodness, right. So this is nonsense what I've been doing, isn't it? This is not a puzzle about 3s and 4s. This is a puzzle about highs and lows. Aha. Right, I'm going to abandon this. Sorry. We're going to abandon that for a moment because blue is on this line along with either 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. Those cells are all, they're a string of either low numbers or high numbers. So this is a different string. So again, just to go through this slowly, imagine this was a 4. Well, this is a set of 3 consecutive digits, so it can't involve 5 or 6 anymore. So it has to be 1, 2, 3, and this is going to be a 3 in that instance, and this will be 4, 5, 6. Now if that was 3 instead, this couldn't have a 1 or a 2 on it, so it would have to be 4, 5, 6, and this would be 1, 2, 3. So we don't know. Right, so what's going to happen is that this given digit is at some point going to allow us to disambiguate highs and lows in the grid. That's really clever. That's really, really clever. Now, right, so now that cell is blue by the power of bluenesses. What do I mean by that cell being blue? Well, it's got to be blue because it can't be green, because it actually sees the 3 different flavours of green. Because we can think of it now, there are 3 different flavours of green digit and 3 different flavours of blue digit, because we're looking at 4s, 5s, 6s in one colour and 1s, 2s, 3s in the other. Well, this one sees those 2, whatever they are, and sees that one because we can't repeat a digit on a line. So that one is blue. Now, that means that this line, it's definitely got at least 2 blue digits on it. So if this was also blue, then we would know this line was 1, 2, 3, 4 or 6, 5, 4, 3. But if this was green, we would know the line couldn't have an extreme digit on it, so it would be 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure. Hang on a moment. Let me think. So what do we do now? It's very interesting, isn't it? Because it's chewy, this. Even though you sort of think it's a 6x6 with some relatively long lines, we should just be able to fill it in. In a way, it's a perfect kind of puzzle, because it doesn't feel monstrous, but it feels interesting. It feels like we just have to have the right thought, and we're going to be away. I know green appears here, so I know this line has 2 greens on it now, at least. Could have a maximum of 3 greens. But this line is really unknown. Blue, as in the 3, 4, has to be in one of those 2 squares. So at least one of these is green. Because we can't have 2 blues here, because there will, between those 3 cells, there are at least 2 blues, because this one has to appear on this line. Sorry. I know I'm not being very... I feel like I'm not being... My brain isn't being incisive here and telling me what it is that I'm meant to be thinking about. Green has to go on this line. Blue has to go on this line. So, right, so 3, 4. Right, so I want to say, yes, that is a blue 3, 4, I think. Let's see if this works. If that was not... no, hang on, I'm wrong. No, I'm talking absolute nonsense here. Sorry. Alright, I'm going to change tack then. I'm going to change tack and do something else. Okay, in this column, where do the 3s and 4s go? Ah, this is beautiful. Right, this is a good question. I have stumbled into the right question here. Where in this column do 3s and 4s go? And the answer to that is one of them, well, exactly one of them, in fact. exactly one of them is down here in this domino, because this square simply cannot be a 3 or a 4. It sees 3 and 4. This cannot be a blue 3-4 because it's double green, and also it can't be a green 3-4 because it sees this 3-4. So we've got to put 3 and 4 into 2 of these 3 cells. But if we put them both in here, that line is broken, because that line now couldn't be a consecutive sequence because 3 and 4 would be unavailable to it. So that means that only one of these cells is 3 or 4, which means that this cell is a 3 or a 4, but it might not be blue. It could be green. I don't know what colour it is. But I think that the more interesting question is, because I know that there is a 3 or a 4 in this domino, this line now is an extreme line, and I know its colour. It's so sick. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm trying to explain this sort of as in the way that I'm understanding it. I hope I'm making it clear. Because one of these squares is a 3 or a 4. Imagine it was a 3 in one of those 2 squares. What could we fill that line with? Well, it would have to be 4, 5 and 6. Whereas if there's a 4 down here, this line would have to be 1, 2 or 3. In other words, this line deserves the same colour. It is a monochromatic line. And if it's a monochromatic line, could it be blue? No, because now I've got 4 blues in the final column, and that doesn't work. We know that there are 3 of each colour, so it's got to be green. And if it's got to be green, these have all got to be blue. And if these have all got to be blue, I was wrong about this. This has turned out to be green. Oh well, never mind. At least logically, I have now deduced the nature of row 4, column 3. Ah, it's just beautiful. That is just beautiful. Now I've got 3 blues in this row, so those have got to be green. Okay, so now this square is interesting. We're going to change tack now from colours and think about numbers, because, well, let's think about what the nature of this number is in the context of it being blue. And the answer is this is a 2 or a 5. This is mad. It can't be a 1 or a 6. So within each colour, there's sort of a low, middle and high number. So imagine we're looking at the 1, 2, 3 colour. There's a low number, that's the 1. There's a middle number, that's a 2. There's a high number, that's a 3. Well, imagine that this was an extreme number, like a 1 or a 6 within the nature of blue. So if we try and make this a 1, well, this has to be a consecutive sequence, so it needs to have 3 blues on it now, and it can't. It's only a 4-cell sequence, it's got 2 greens on it, so it cannot be extreme. It's got to be 2 or 5, and that means that the 3 or the 4 has to go here, which actually I now see I could have got a different way. But now this square's got to be green by the power of greens in this column. And this square has got to be a green 2, 5, because it's green, it's not 3, 4, and it can't be the 1, 6 green. So that's a green 2, 5. So this is a blue 1, 6. Where do you put blue 3, 4 in this column? Not there. So that's blue 3, 4. This is blue 1, 6. This could go now. This could tumble. Come on. How do we make this? Oh yes. Look. This diagonal line has an extreme digit on it. So it must have all 3 blues on it. Because this is an extreme blue. So that's got to be blue, and therefore it's got to be a 2, 5. Which has now got to go here in this box. Here we go. This has got to be green. Do we know the order of the greens? Maybe not, actually. I'm not sure. Okay, so what do I do now? don't know. Hang on, let me think about this. I think this ought to be doable now. Yeah, okay, where does blue 2-5 go in this box? Well, given that a blue 2-5 is not the same as a 6, I think it's got to go there. So that's blue 2-5. So it sort of sounds like Bluetooth, doesn't it? This is a Bluetooth digit. But we don't know whether this is blue or green. So, although we do now by Sudoku know that there is a blue 2-5. Oh, that's right. This is double blue. Now, because by Sudoku, this 3-cell line has a blue 2-5 on it. So it must have a blue 3-4 on it because it's a 3-cell line. And if it's got a blue 3-4 on it, the blue 3-4 by Sudoku is in one of these two squares, but that's exactly where the blue 2-5 is. So this is a blue 2-5 and a blue 3-4, but I don't know the order. 2-5, 3-4. And this digit is either a green... It's not a green 3-4. It can't be a green 3-4 by Sudoku. So this is another monochromatic line. So it's got to be blue, which means all of these are green, which means now we're away, aren't we? So these are both blue. The 6 has become green. Now, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Because now we could just fill the puzzle in, I think. Or certainly we could do it some damage. Because obviously now we know that green is the high colour. But what I'm going to do is to try and do this in the most satisfying way, which will be to fill in all of the options slowly, and then we'll work back to the correct answer. Well, this digit, in fact, it's really a 1 or a 6, but we can see it's going to be a 1 because of this. That digit's got to be a 3 or a 4, and that makes sense because we know, hang on, I've not... Well, that's okay. I was suddenly thinking I've not put green 3-4 on this line. It's a 4-cell line. It needs a green 3-4, but it seems to have to go there. So that square's got to be green as well, but that's definitely a green 3-4. That's got to be the green 1-6 because it sees a green 2-5, so that's the green 2-5. This is a 1-6 blue, which we know is going to end up being a 1. That's a green 1-6, which we know is going to be a 6. That's got to be a blue 1-6. That's got to be a blue 2-5. This has got to be a... What have we got? Yeah, look at this line. We've got all the flavours of green that we could possibly wish for. So that's going to be the 2-5 by Sudoku. That's going to be the 1-6. This has got to be the 3-4. If this goes wrong now, I will cry. Because this has been an absolute pleasure. Now, this has got to be blue 2-5, I think. Which means that's not blue 2-5, so this is not blue 3-4. So this is blue 3-4, and that's blue 1-6 in the corner, and that's something. Green 2-5. So now all we have to do, I don't know if this will work, but green we know, green 1-6, it won't work. I'm going to have to highlight them individually. Green 1-6 we know is 6. So blue, that really doesn't work, does it? Maybe if I do that, yes, that works. So that's all, they are all 1s. We know that blue 2-5, let's do this a little bit slowly, but it's still going to be cool. Blue 2-5 are low digits. Blue 3-4, we know are low digits, so they're going to all be 3s. Does this work? If I click that, yes, they've all got to be 4s. And finally, those have all got to be 5s, and that, I believe, is the correct solution to the puzzle. Isn't that cool? What an absolute ball that is. That is just beautiful. This is very clever. So although you can pick up very quickly that you've got 3s and 4s on the longer lines, it was not at all obvious to me that did anything. But you get that the 3 and the 4 are here. That does something there. But what I thought was the beautiful step in this puzzle, the real sort of pièce de résistance that Logan's built into it, is thinking about 3s and 4s in this column and realising you couldn't have a 3-4 pair at the bottom of this column because it would break this line. And that forced this to be monochromatic, and then later we were able to force that to be monochromatic, and then everything fell apart in a rather cool way. I hope you agree. Let me know in the comments. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.
Traffic controllers are alley dancers, and the billboards are painted over with colour, where kindness is fine.